Good evening. I like to answer these questions. I have better concentration when I can hear nature. My mind stops monkey chatter a lot easier. My attention is on the sound and sensation. Is it better to meditate outside? If you meditating outside is good. If you go outside to listen to birds singing and wind blowing or some kind of sounds, you enjoy those things, but you cannot meditate. If you meditate, I think I have mentioned 100 times during this retreat, focus yourself on your own breath, feeling and so on. But just going out to listen to sounds, you are not meditating because sounds can sometimes disturb you. However, if you practice mindfulness, even the sound would not bother you. You can use the sound to see impermanence of sound, unsatisfactoriness of sound, and selflessness of sound that is in your mind. You hear the sound, which is in your, goes through the ear into the brain and convert it into certain things. There you will see the sound that you hear outside and your mental proliferation depending on sound also are constantly changing. If you look at that, then you can meditate on sound. But if you go there just to enjoy sound, you enjoy it, but it shouldn't be called meditation. I have seen pictures of female Buddhas, but I thought that there is only one Buddha per X amount of years. I don't think we had any female Buddhas. We had Buddhas. Unfortunately, so far all the Buddhas are male. And in this age where everybody is talking about equality, sex equality and so gender equality and so forth, you may be thinking in terms of female Buddhas. We don't know. We don't know. So far we had male Buddhas. If you strive very, very, very hard now on, maybe one day you may see a female Buddha. But for now, we cannot guarantee that. So, the question is, there were only in this Buddha period, there were this, what you call Bhadrakalpa, these aeons, there were 4 Buddhas, Kakusanda, Konagama, Kasyapa, Gautama, 4. Perhaps there may be another Buddha called Metteya Buddha or Maitri Buddha before this aeon comes to an end. In the Conch Trumpet Sutta, the Buddha talks about how his teaching of karma differs from the Jains or Niganthas. Can you talk a little about this and the complexity of karma as we try to end our way along the Noble Eightfold Path? Now, this is a big subject, but as you already hinted, I should say only a few words. Their karmas is all physical karma, physical activities, and they don't emphasize the mental karma. Buddha emphasized the mental karma, because every karma is committed only when we have thought. Chetanaham bhikkhave kammam vadami. Thinking, thought makes karma. If we do things without thinking, without intention, without thought, that is not a karma. This is a big difference between their karma and the Buddha's karma. And since we are practicing the Noble Eightfold Path, including our meditation, concentration and insight and so on, we are committing very good, wholesome karma. Meditation is very good karma. And that definitely will end our suffering. I don't know how many questions are here. I'm trying to answer them. Could you say something more about vitaka and vichara and the meditation object? I only know a metaphor of striking a bell, vitaka, and the sounding of the bell, vichara, as applied to repeatedly returning to and paying attention to the meditation's object, say the breath. Now, the word vitaka vichara is translated into English from Visuddhimagga, the own word, as initial application of thought, sustained application of thought, which does not mean anything. The bell symbol, bell simile, and its vibrations and so forth are good examples to signify, to imply the significance of the meaning of vitaka vichara. And sometimes it is also, even Visuddhimagga has given another simile, like a bee buzzing around the flower is vitaka, and bee setting on the flower is vichara. What you mentioned here is another pair of similes. Even that doesn't mean anything. What really initial application thought really means, what it means. That simply means you keep practicing the Noble Eightfold Path, you overcome your hindrances. 2 hindrances you overcome among 5, which are greed and hatred. So when you attain jhana, it is a wholesome jhana. When you attain wholesome jhana, for the first time, you will have a real deep thought of letting go. That is one of the hindrances. You let go of hindrances, and impact of letting go of hindrances will appear in most powerfully at the attainment of the first jhana, and that is your initial application of thought. And also you have overcome your hatred by practicing metta, and also letting go of hatred as a hindrance. That is another thought that impacts your mind at the attainment of jhana. That is second applied thought. Third applied thought, the thought of cruelty. You let go of your thought of cruelty by practicing right intention. I mentioned when we practice jhana, we all have practiced the other 7 steps of the Noble Eightfold Path. Step number 2 is right intention, which we have already practiced and developed right intention of non-cruelty, ahimsa, sankappa. And these are the 3 thoughts that appear in the mind with great impact on it as initial thought. Initially, this is the first time you have the real impact of these 3 thoughts on your mind. That is initial application of thought. There must be some substance in initial application of thought, but mere word initial application of thought does not mean anything. Sustained application of thought is the same 3 kinds of thoughts stay in the mind longer time, sustaining, maintaining, settling in the mind. That is sustained application of thought. And if you say, just like the bell, the first strike of bell is initial application of thought, you may say yes. Just like first strike of bell, the thought of letting go, thought of metta, thought of non-cruelty can impact the mind, just like hitting the bell for the first time. Second, it's vibration. Sound contributes to echo. That echo of the sound can be the sustained application of thought, sustaining of these 3 thoughts in the mind. You can apply that simile, but the meaning we must understand what it really means. Because, after all, when we practice right concentration, something that we have practiced earlier must have some impact on jhana. We have practiced 7 steps already. And their impact must be in the jhana as a right concentration. We are talking about a samma samadhi, not mithya samadhi. Jack Cornfield and other lay teachers talk about self-compassion and self-forgiveness. Does the Buddha talk about anything similar in his teachings? I think Buddha mentioned to Rahula, when you commit an offense, immediately confess. That way you make yourself comfortable. Making yourself comfortable is a way of compassion towards yourself. Instead of being very cruel and keep letting your conscience prick your mind all the time, thinking of guilt and guilt and guilt and guilt. Therefore, you show your great compassion towards yourself by confessing and then get advice that would make you feel very comfortable, relaxed, and move on in your practice. I would say that is a way of showing compassion towards yourself. In that way we can say, indirectly Buddha encouraged self-compassion, but directly there is no any particular teaching anywhere Buddha asks us to practice self-compassion. He said, of course, Attanameva patamang patirupe nivese atanya manusaseya netliseya pandita and so forth. First you practice towards yourself. What do you practice? If you want to be honest, you must be honest with yourself. If you talk about honesty, you practice honesty. If you talk about not taking alcohol, you first must stop taking alcohol. If you want to ask people not to tell lies, ask people to speak the truth, you first must speak the truth. Like that, if you want to practice metta towards all living beings, while practicing metta, you must feel metta in your heart. That is how you practice metta towards yourself. If you mechanically repeat like parrots, metta recitals, you will never have any metta for yourself. So this way, there always is a great deal of benefit for the one who practices it. And then that person can express it easily. Because Buddha said, I repeated these things many times in the past, Sabbādisa anuparigama chesara nevajjaga piyatara mattuno kvachi yasma piyo putu atta paresang tasmana himse parang attakamo. I surveyed the world with my mental eye to see whether there is anybody who loves anybody more than oneself. And I saw none. Nobody loves anybody on earth more than oneself. Everybody loves oneself. Tasma piyo putu atta pare, yasma piyo putu atta paresam tasmana hinse parang attakamo. Since we love ourselves, we must love others just as we love ourselves. So, there is love for ourselves, not clinging. Upadana is one thing, clinging to ourselves is one thing. Loving ourselves is another. Loving ourselves means we don't want to get into woeful state of existence. If we do things to put ourselves in woeful state of existence, we don't love ourselves. It is not attachment, but it is the sense of liberation. Okay. Can one take a long-term, temporary, seminary ordination if a child is still dependent on her, but she has saved enough money to take care of her child, mother and child would live together at their own home? I don't think so. But in the Buddha's time, I don't remember the nun who was, when she became a nun, she was pregnant already. Perhaps she was not aware of it when she was ordained. I'm trying to remember her name. Anyway, sometime I might. Then when she became a nun, she delivered the baby. Then what to do? In the nunnery there is a baby. So Buddha said, it's okay. Take care of the baby, showing your love, and let the baby go. they took care of her baby. Although she was a nun, she took care of the baby and gave very special concession, very special protection to her and the baby. This we read in Vinaya Pitaka. So sometimes it happens when it accidentally you have a baby. But receiving ordination temporarily and go home and take care of your baby, I don't think that's a very conducive situation. And therefore I have never read or heard anywhere in Buddhist tradition, Theravada Mahayana, that bhikkhunis receive temporary ordination and go home. Even this temporary ordination concept is never not heard before, unheard before. In the time of the Buddha there was no something called temporary ordination. This is a very recent in some countries. Some people, when mother died, he was become a monk for 1 week. When father died, 1 week. When they have a husband and wife have a quarrel, husband go to the temple and ordain for until wife comes and beg him to come back. So he goes home. And after some time there's a quarrel. He goes to the temple. Okay, I know more. And then she goes to the temple and asks him to come back. This kind of, I never encourage that. Some people wanted their teenagers, when they are unmanageable at home, to bring in and ordain during school vacation. I said, no. If you want to ordain, in my mind, when I ordain somebody, my mind, I am ordaining the person for that person's life. If the person, after some years, go home, this road, that is that person's decision. But I do not in advance plan to give temporary ordination. Anyway, don't get offended when I give this answer to you, and you may have very good intention, but I have to tell you the truth of actually our principle. Please explain the difference between taking life and letting someone die. Now, letting someone die, simply ignoring the person is not a good thing. If somebody is seriously sick, you do whatever you can to help that person, whatever you can. Medically, emotionally, physically, nursing and so forth, you do everything possible with the intention of helping this person to live even a day. But if the person dies, you cannot do anything about it. But taking life by no means can be approved. No. Now you say, example, you are walking along a path and come across a person trapped in quicksand. There is absolutely no way to help this person. You cannot reach this person and you have no rope or stick in order to pull them out. Getting into the quicksand would only result in both of you dying. What should you do? Are you not ultimately the directed cause of this person's death, indirect cause of death. Indirect cause of death, no. You are not responsible, but at the same time, look around. If there is a way to help this person, and until the person sinks completely, you don't give up your attempt. You don't give up your intention. So you can do something. Perhaps you may find some kind of magical, some magic when the person is, sinking like that. Do Buddhists believe in angels or anything of the sort? What about ghosts? Yes, do believe in ghosts. Buddhists believe in divine beings, devas. Yeah, sure. You may call them angels, we call them devas. And yes, ghosts, there are petas, all kind of petas, they exist. We believe, Buddhists believe in that. But, okay, I try to answer this question. I don't want to get into more details on any question. I must confess, I have developed a strong clinging to you, your kind demeanor and beautiful voice, yet simple way of communicating. I even have a strong desire to hug you. Don't worry. I keep this control. Any advice for one who sees the greed in clinging to wonderful people and yet experience this clinging anyway? Had I known this question in advance, I would not read it. Would I? Would not read it. Anyway, what can I say? You have spoken on using metta in practice for handling body dukkha, such as aches and audible dukkha. Such as heavy breathers in the Dhamma hall. What about the cultivation of equanimity? I would like to hear your instructions on how to attain equanimity using the rising and passing sensations that come from noise or I don't want to say the other word. So, actually, this is where we need to cultivate compassion, mindfulness, and equanimity. Getting upset is not going to help anybody. When we are compassionate, it helps us. If we become equanimous, it helps us. If we are mindful, it helps us. Person who makes noise does not have any intention to hurt anybody, disturb anybody. It sometimes happens to people. So, of course, sometimes it is irritating. That is very natural. So we use our mindfulness to watch the irritation and ask ourselves, why should I irritate? Because this person doesn't do it deliberately to hurt me. So I think, use that situation to develop your patience, compassion, your understanding, and your wisdom to develop your equanimity. That's what I would say. I would not use that situation to disturb your mental state. You might have heard this may be a legend, but a very popular parable. There was what is his name? He was very famous. He's very famous, I don't remember his name. There was a man in his community who was a great nuisance to everybody. He was disturbing, he was not doing his work, he was always saying things in inappropriate place, inappropriate time, using inappropriate words, and lazy, and all negative things. People in the community, everybody hated him. Everybody wanted him to leave the community. But this fellow doesn't leave. So one day, they all went on a picnic or something, and they all returned, but this man did not return. So the head master of the community asked him, where is so-and-so? They said, sir, we are so glad that he disappeared. When he was here, he disturbed everybody. We didn't have any peace of mind. Always we are irritated, we are cursing and so forth. Now we can stay in peace without any problem. He said, why did you let him go? I paid him to stay here so that you all can learn mindfulness. You all can learn patience. Go, look for him. You see? Somehow he found him and brought him back. That is the story. So, if there is somebody disturbing you, don't run away from the person. Practice. Think that is a very good opportunity for you to practice patience, compassion, loving friendliness, mindfulness, and wisdom, insight. Okay. Can you strengthen concentration and mindfulness through meditation on metta? I think I mentioned metta is Buddha used another word, sati. Etang sating aditeya. Brahmametang viharangitama. We recite it twice a day these days, morning and at lunchtime. develop this mindfulness. Sati is used as a synonym for metta. So when we practice metta, we develop mindfulness as well, because metta practice leads to concentration. One of the 11 benefits of metta practice is tuvatang chittang samadhyati. You gain concentration very quickly. As I said, when you gain concentration, in that concentrated state of mind, you begin to see things exactly as they are. Samahitam chittang yatha bhutam prajanati. Concentrated mind sees things as they are. Meaning, you see subtlest level of impermanence, subtlest level of suffering, subtlest level of selflessness. So, metta can lead to mindfulness. Can you give advice on how to work with sound in meditation? I think I mentioned this several times already during our interviews and other times. Yes, sound, of course we are advised to go and at the beginning meditators find sound very disturbing. That is why Buddha gave, go to a place, appa saddhani, appa nighosani, vijitavatani, manusara, sayyakani, patisallana, saruppani, and so forth. Appa saddhani, go to a place where there are very little sound, little hustle bustle, no human movement. You feel human movement. Vijanavatani. Manusara sayyakani. To be able to hide away from human beings. Patisallana saruppani. Conducive to secluded life, spiritual life. Go to such a place, because beginners find it difficult to meditate when there is a sound around. Any sound. But somebody who has developed the mind with mindfulness, concentration and so forth, sound also can be used as an object of meditation. And focus the mind how sound arises, as you mentioned in, hitting the gong, a bell. You first strike, and then sound comes out of it, and slowly fading away. Sound arises and slowly fading away. Like this. Listen very carefully. If you paid attention, you would have heard the sound first is louder, very sharp, and then slowly fade away. So, if you hear a sound repeatedly again and again, you will notice the same fading away. And that is a very concrete example of impermanence. So you can use it as an object of vipassana meditation. In the Buddha's time, there are many who became enlightened. This is documented. Who was the one keeping track? Okay. how did they know that someone was really enlightened? Since this happened to the individual's mind. For Genesis, we have IQ. We have genius, okay. Genius, we have IQ test for color, color blindness, other test. What would be the test for enlightenment today? Are there any telltale signs one is close to being enlightened? And then any sign when the goal is reached? Okay. In the time of the Buddha, when individuals who listen to Dhamma attain enlightenment, some of them come to the Buddha and declare their attainment of enlightenment. Some of them, Buddha himself knew their mental state and he declared. For instance, when Channa passed away, when Mahayadarukirya passed away, Supabuddha passed away, other monks did not know at what kind of state of mind he was when he passed away. They came to the Buddha and said, so and so passed away. What is his destination? And Buddha said, he attained such and such a state of enlightenment. He attained Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Arahant, and so forth. Because Buddha was able to see beings dying and taking rebirth according to their karma. That is yatha kammopaga jnana, Buddha had it. And therefore he was able to see enlightened individual's state of mind. And he declared. And when he declared, all these Venerable Ananda kept these records. And these records are there in Buddhist literature. After Buddha's passing away, some individual attained enlightenment. Then, through their expression, their behavior, their attitude, people, other individuals who also were practicing meditation in monastic situation were able to tell that so and so attained enlightenment. Otherwise, the person who attained enlightenment normally does not tell unless the community of monastics would ask him, have you, there is one of the 10 reflections that monastics learn is when the other monastic asks him or her, have you attained any state of enlightenment? He should be able to tell that he has attained such and such state. The statement is it is in Dasa Dhamma Sutta, the last one. Attinukote uttari manushya dhamma alamariya jnana darsana visesu adhigato so pachine kale sabramachari putto na manku bhavisami iti pabjite dhaminam pachiriti dabba. That is, when the monastic, the one who receive ordination must always think, when my fellow monastics ask me, whether I have attained any state of enlightenment, I should not be embarrassed to tell them that I have not attained. To tell them that I have not attained in a state of enlightenment is an embarrassment. So he should reflect always from the time he had entered the order that when fellow monastics asked him whether he attained enlightenment or not, to tell them, yes, Venerable Sir, I have attained such and such a state. This kind of statements we see to confirm the attainment when they have attained. Only because of these things we can know that so and so has attained it. I feel like holding on to these 5 aggregates. I don't blame you. This is very natural. I think don't feel guilty about it. It's like walking the path with a bag of garbage full of rocks. As soon as I let the bag go, walking the path will be easier, sure. That is very true. Everybody have this kind of sense of feeling, clinging to the 5 aggregates. That is why you feel very heavy. When you lay down this burden, you feel very light. That is called enlightenment. So, it is said, Ohita Bhara, lay down the barrow. Bhara means barrow, weight. You will lay down the weight when you attain enlightenment. So, until such time, your back will have a lot of rocks. And try to lay it down and walk the path very lightly, supramundane path, which I am going to talk about tomorrow. And then, can you please give advice on ways to practice meditation in very noisy environments? I think I answered this question earlier, and I don't have to repeat it. Okay. My job is to produce clothing and protective equipment for for Marines. I do not buy weapons. Is this job right livelihood, even though the Marines kill? Now, no, this is right livelihood. Why? You have no intention to kill. I said there are 5 conditions of killing. You don't have any of these conditions. You provide garment. They ask you to make garments, you make garments. While making garments, you don't think, let him wear this garment and go and kill. You don't have that intention. I believe so. Your intention is to make the garment professionally for them to wear. Therefore, you are not doing wrong livelihood. could form, feeling, perceptions and formation be considered the same as body, feeling, mind and mind objects respectively? Okay. Form, body, yes. Feelings, yes. Mind and mind object. It is not mind, actually perception and mind are not the same. And then you have last one is formation. Formation is used for sankhara. Somebody has come up with another word for formation or sankhara. His term is fabrication. Fabrication. I think that also is a good term. Mind objects, formation, mind objects. Actually, yes. Formation is used for sankhara, and sometimes we call mind object sankhara. Sankhara, mind objects, sankhara, mind objects are not exactly the same. Mind objects are called Dhamma, the mind and mind objects. They can be sankhara or they can be, of course, in the sense that everything coming into existence is sankhara. In that sense, mind objects also can be sankhara. The word sankhara is particularly used to cover everything. On the other hand, mind, everything also can be mind objects. So there seems to be affinity between these two, although we don't use these two for the same thing. I'm trying to answer this question today, although a little late, and I'm tired. How can our own physical beauty be a spiritual teacher rather than the opposite? Physical beauty be a spiritual teacher? Yes, it can be, because when you keep watching your physical beauty over a period of time, that beauty will no longer be there. Then you can understand the nature of impermanence. In that sense, you can use physical beauty as an object of meditation. But if you use the physical beauty to become very upset afterward, when you lose it, then it is not very good object for meditation. That depends on how you use the physical beauty. Another thing is, are the commentaries like Visuddhimagga partly derived from the Patisambhida Magga attribute to Venerable Sariputta himself, not so accepted in way of meditation? There are many schools and styles of meditation within Theravada itself, and many do not agree with each other and have varying methods of doing the Satipatthana discourse of the Buddha. what is your advice to a serious meditator? Actually, going through all these different commentaries, sub-commentaries and sub-sub-commentaries and modern writings and so forth on Satipatthana Sutta would not be helpful to people, for meditators. They will be very helpful to scholars who do research. Buddha called them Pada Parama. Pada Parama. There are 4 individuals, Uggaditanya, Vipanchitanya, Nyaya, Pada Parama. Uggaditanya is one who attains enlightenment by listening to Dhamma very quickly. As soon as he listens to Dhamma, he attains enlightenment. Such people called Uggaditanya. Nyaya is a kind of people who needs more instructions, take little longer time to realize Dhamma. Vipanchitanya people take even longer time. Those individuals need instructions, advice, encouragement, listening, associating with good Kalyana Mitra, good friends, and so forth and so on. They do a lot of hard work, and after long time they attain enlightenment. Pada Paramas their paramount interest is Pada, words. They love words. They can listen to Dhamma, they write Dhamma book, they count number of words in the Tipitaka, and they go to this teacher, that teacher, listening, writing, analyzing, criticizing, and researching and writing thesis, doctoral thesis, and this and that. Entire life they spend using words and never attain enlightenment. Such person is called Pada Parama. These sort of things are very good for Pada Paramas. Not for those who like to attain enlightenment and practice through the practice of meditation. So I would say, if you want to be one of them, Pada Paramas, this is good for you. If you want to practice meditation and attain liberation, this is an impediment. Tucca Potala was a good example. I am not going to tell you the story now, some other time. Bahumpiche sahitam bhasamano natat karoti narokamato gopo gavo ganayam paresan ne bhagava samanya sahoti Buddha said. Appam pishe sahitam bhasamano dhamma soti anudhammachari, and so forth, long story. No matter how much you read and never practice, such a person would be compared to a cowherd who take care of others' cattle and never taste milk, yogurt, ghee, and so forth. Never. Because he looks after somebody else's cow. And the cow owner enjoys the milk, yogurt, ghee, and so forth. Person who spends so much time on this sort of things will never taste Dhamma. How can we wish animals a full lifespan while promoting a very painful short life caused by our consumption of them? Actually, as I mentioned, if somebody with this state of conscience abstain from eating meat, that person contributes to reducing animal farms, or reducing the amount of animals raised in farms for meat. If all of us, all human beings, stop eating meat, nobody will raise animals for meat in animal farms. But that does not stop killing. So, we can wish a full life of lifespan of animals and abstain from eating meat. That each and every one can do individually, but we cannot stop killing beings. They kill for one reason or another. Can a retreat led by lay teachers be as powerful as a monastic retreat? Well, that depends on the person. If some lay people very, very good, and they also can make the practice very powerful, meaningful, provided they have a grip of the source, that is the teachings of the Buddha, and they learn it thoroughly and practice very diligently, and from their experience of meditation and the knowledge of Dhamma, they can make a very good, they can become very good meditation teachers and have impact on people. Otherwise it may not be very effective. All depends on their own practice and their own knowledge. If rise and fall is the truth, and we misunderstand due to our ignorant minds, is nature perfect, since nature does not have an enlightened, ignorant mind? Now, we are talking about a living being. Nature itself is not a living being, so it is not actually a question that we should think about. Rise and fall is the truth, that is sure. And because of our ignorance, we don't see them properly. We misunderstand due to our ignorant minds. That is true. I agree with that part. But the next part is nature perfect? Since nature does not have an ignorant mind, nature is also not perfect. What is perfect is impermanence. Everything in the nature, in the nature also is impermanent, and impermanent nature is permanent. Impermanent nature is permanent, and impermanent is permanently impermanent. So, when we talk about the nature, that is one of the niyama dhammas. For instance, when we gain concentration, The concentrated mind can see things exactly as they are. That is the nature of concentrated mind. So the nature we cannot say has enlightened mind. I don't think so. But our mind can become enlightened, and the nature cannot become enlightened because nature doesn't have mind. That is how I try to answer this question. If you have better answer, let me know tomorrow. Today I am tired and I want to stop. Okay? Thank you for asking me questions, and tomorrow will be the last day. And don't write so many questions, you see. I like to request those who have not written any question may write tomorrow. Those who have written many questions in the past, please restrain, have some compassion for them and me. Okay?